A long promised and waited for feature has finally come to Microsoft's Surface Duo. If you guys remember, way back when, before the thing was actually even out on the market, Microsoft showed off the ability to do some proper gaming on Surface Duo, wherein the game would be on the top screen and your controls would be on the bottom screen, kind of creating a Nintendo DS-like vibe. Well, after the thing came out, this just wasn't a feature that you had access to. You just couldn't do this with the Game Pass app as they were showing in the videos leading up to the launch. Obviously, you can do this in some emulators if you span it and kind of move things around just right. In fact, I believe I made a video about doing just that, which I will link somewhere up here if I do indeed remember to go dig that back out. But in terms of what Microsoft actually had promised in their videos, that just wasn't a thing you could really do. Well, that has now finally changed. Here's a tweet from one Panos Panay. He says, quote, "A very cool update goes live for Surface Duo customers today. Working with Xbox, we put touch controls on the second screen. More than 50 games are available to play with touch for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members." And for those who don't know what this is game streaming, right? So there is a server somewhere, essentially an Xbox in the cloud, that is playing the game that I'm going to be playing, and then it is being streamed over the internet to my mobile device and then being played. When I press the A button, that command is sent back over the internet to that remote Xbox. That action takes place and then is streamed back to me. So this is game streaming. None of this is happening locally on any of the devices you're going to be doing it on. And in fact, I've also made a video about how to set up Xbox Game Pass, get that running on your Surface Duo. So maybe I'll link that up there as well at this point. So now let's do the obvious thing here. Let's take a look at this setup with the controls on the bottom screen. I'll do a demonstration of it. I've not played with it just yet, so you can see my live reaction to how that is functioning right about now. All right, and now using the wonders of a USB capture card and a USB Type-C to HDMI cable, I am now capturing my Surface Duo, and there should be pretty low latency here in terms of what you're going to be seeing, better than if I was streaming it to the Your Phone app. So this is what you're going to see in the Game Pass app. There's quite a number of games, and up here at the top, you're going to want to select Cloud. Normally it's going to be set to, one of these things. Make sure you're on the cloud setting. My app appears to have locked up in this moment. Okay, we've come back to life. Whatever, it is what it is. And we're back on cloud. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick a game here. And what you're going to be looking for, there's a section that says Play with Touch. So let's open that up and let's see what we've got here in terms of games that we can play with touch. So Guacamelee, I haven't actually played the sequel, but I love the original back on the PlayStation Vita. I'm skeptical of how well this is going to work on a touchscreen, but this should be a good example. So when you go ahead and hit play, you're going to get this loading screen. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to actually span this app across both screens, and then you're going to want to, as it's saying here, rotate your Surface Duo for the best experience. So let's go ahead and rotate this. Things are a little bit wonky there. Okay, it has righted the ship there now. And we will wait on this thing to go ahead and load. And you're going to notice, at least I've noticed, it seems to take a really long time to load into these games. I don't think that's going to have changed with this particular beta. We are sort of loaded in there now. Let's go back to this bigger view. And you can see here that we've got a D-pad here. And then we've got the button sort of laid out in such a way that not only is it just a button, it's actually also got sort of the action that it's going to be. So that A button, being a jump button, B or X being some kind of a punch button, something like that. So basically what they've done is they've sort of made it so that the controls are just more obvious in terms of what they actually are, what action they're actually going to be doing in the game. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, so we're at a point now where I can actually move. So let's get an idea here of the latency. And I gotta tell you, okay, so I've messed with Game Pass a little bit in the past, and the latency was a little bit bothersome. You can see there when that button lights up to when I jump, what kind of delay there is. And this is not Not as bad as I was seeing before in full 3D games. This might be difficult. If I'm not mistaken, this is literally the final boss of the first Guacamelee. It's been a long time since I've played it. I'm getting absolutely destroyed right now. I don't know if that's supposed to be happening or not. It's rather difficult for me to control an actual platformer with no buttons, with a touch screen. Is this better than trying to do it, with a normal touchscreen? So no, the controls being on top of what I'm doing? Yeah, probably. And then if you hit your Xbox button, you do get a different layout here to be able to, basically non-customized layout here to be able to control what you're looking at there. And you can, if you don't like the customized stuff in general, you can actually, believe you can actually just make it basic controls, period. So where they're showing you different buttons and things like that for different actions, you can actually just have that be just a standard Xbox setup if that is easier for you to remember, muscle memory wise where everything is. That might be the case for me. Now, we'll say that this thing is still getting very, very warm on this side here on the right screen. Things are getting quite toasty. Okay, so we are gonna jump on here to another game that I enjoy on the Xbox, which is Sea of Thieves. And let's kind of jump back over here. Controls don't. Let me get outside where I can see what I'm doing here. Struggling to understand what it's trying to get me to do here. So there's a button here that's moving a cursor. There's a walk button that if I touch, I can drag around to walk. Oh, wow. That's making me look around, and that's making me walk, and that's moving a random cursor on the screen. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that these particular controls appear to be broken. So what we're going to do here is we're going to switch to basic controls, and I can now look around and move. Okay, how's this? Oof. So 3D, like first person style games with, being streamed for one thing. You can see the delay here, right? In a 2D game, it's one thing. In a 3D game where you're looking around, it's tough. It is tough to deal with. What do we have here in terms of when they say motion controls? What does that mean? I'm moving around my duo and nothing is happening. So I don't quite understand what they mean by motion controls. A motion is on. Gyro is on. Okay, so it has now fixed itself. So the eyeball button is looking around correctly. I don't know what that was earlier, but that is now working. Did turning on gyro have anything to do with it? Let's turn that back off. No, I guess it just glitched out temporarily. Okay, so, but I would love to know what the motion aspect, the gyro aspect, what that's supposed to be doing here. Okay, let's see if I'll be capable of shooting my boat. So we're gonna get out the gun, we're gonna ADS, we're gonna look at the boat, and then we're gonna fire. It is definitely, look, it's a little bit awkward because essentially, not only are you doing every action with your two thumbs, you're doing it on a touchscreen with no physical feedback. So, the latency there, how's the latency? That's going to be something that you're going to have to kind of see for yourself and see how you feel about it. I have fast internet. My internet is way past the minimum requirements for Game Pass, and you can see the delay that I am seeing, as I hit the button and jump, as I swipe and look. It is there. And like I said earlier, we're getting very, very warm to the touch. In fact, if we use this laser, we're up to 106 degrees Fahrenheit on the back, and there may be a warmer spot here, 107. Yeah, it looks like we topped out at 107 degrees. Okay, so just to make things clear, how does this differ from the experience you have on any other device? Well, let's open up my Z Fold 2. Let's plug this in to the same USB capture, and I'll show you. And you get the same sort of setup. Play with touch is there as an option, and let's just jump right back into Sea of Thieves, and I'll show you the difference here. So obviously with something like the Z Fold, you don't have two screens. You do have a big screen, but you don't have two screens. So those touch controls that you are getting on the Duo on that second lower screen to pull them off of the game in on a regular device, be it a Z Fold or any other standard Android device, those controls will still be there. They're just going to be overlaid on top of the game itself. And you can see that now they're actually quite large. Okay, so this time it looks like the controls did not bug out quite the same way. Let's get outside where I can see what on earth I'm doing. There's the door. Okay, still difficult. Still, you know, look, are we going to have the same amount of latency? Yes, we are. In terms of looking around, yes, we are. It's a very, very similar experience. The biggest difference is that your controls, like I said, are overlaid. I rotated and it just, I guess when I rotated, it totally just freaked it out. It's now, I think it's now reloading the entire game because it rotated. Okay, now we're okay. We're okay. You know, the controls are overlaid onto the game itself. And in fact, the game itself appears to be frozen. Oh, no, we're back. We're back. Not a perfect situation at all. You can see the lagginess there. You can see the delay from the button press. So in this instance, when I say that the Surface Duo has the better experience over something, really any other device, yeah, I think I would. Having the controls split down onto its own dedicated screen is a huge advantage. It's much more ergonomic and it's much easier because you're not, the game isn't being obstructed in terms of your vision. So pretty cool little update there for the Surface Duo. Like I said, this does work on pretty much every other Android device, but it works better on the Surface Duo, and that's definitely something you would hope to be seeing from Microsoft on their own piece of hardware. So guys, that's all I've got for you on this one. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, maybe hit that subscribe or join button if you really liked the video. Stay tuned for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.